Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Simlotzi and this is my beloved ACOTAR save file project. So if you are new here, I am all about bringing the world of A Court of Thorns and Roses to life in The Sims 4, and today's build is super close to my heart because we're diving into a stop motion build of Rhysand's Townhouse in Velaris. And according to ACOTAR, Rhysand's Townhouse is described as a private residence reserved for him and his family / Inncer Circle, so let's dive right in. Okay, so I placed this house on a 30 by 20 lot in Windenburg, which is the night court in my save file. More precisely, today we are building in Oldenplatz neighborhood, which actually represents Velaris, the city of starlight. And yeah, Velaris is probably the most beautiful and the most loved location from the whole series, and I absolutely love it. Okay, now let's get back to the house itself. So first I start with the shape and the layout of the house. So my version of the house has a total of 3 floors and a rooftop terrace that was actually mentioned in the books. Now, you might normally picture a townhouse as a part of a row of houses, but because my lot was on the smaller side, I couldn't do it. Like, I could only build one, but I made sure it still looks like a townhouse, so it's tall and narrow and all that. And instead of multiple joint units, the focus is solely on Rhysand's house, with a charming little front and backyard brimming with flowers, of course, and yes, here and there a fountain for that extra elegant touch. Okay, from what I recall, the books mention cypress trees in the backyard, and I'm pretty sure there was also a central fountain behind the house, and I tried to simulate that in The Sims as closely as possible. And originally I would imagine a slightly smaller house with a larger walled garden in the back of the house, but I made the most of the lot I could, and honestly I couldn't make the house any smaller, especially considering I needed plenty of bedrooms. Because y'all know a lot of people lived here at one point, and things were stacked tight. Visually, I imagined a house to be made of stone, kind of greyish brownish stone with black dark wooden windows and doors, and European traditional townhouse style with the dark roof. And I aimed for an elegant, cozy and moody vibe, surrounded by lush greenery, flowers, ivy creeping up the walls, really embracing that High Lord aesthetic. Now, to be honest, this build, of course, isn't 100% accurate to the one described in the books, but I really poured my heart and soul into it, and I really tried to capture the core essence and vibe of Rhysand's Townhouse while adding a touch of my own artistic freedom and imagination, creating a home with elegant architectural details, rich materials, a bookish charm, and that intimate lived-in feel worthy of a High Lord. Okay, once the yard was in place, I moved on to architectural details like adding facade ornaments, railings, pillars, windows, the roof, decorative touches, blah blah blah. And I know some people imagine Rhysand's townhouse as less fancy, but I went full elegant because it really has to reflect that the High Lord himself actually lives here and that he is incredibly wealthy and rich and all that, and I just couldn't resist making it elegant and beautiful and luxurious and sumptuous inside and out, while still keeping it homey, cozy and warm at its core. Little digression here. So when I first started building, I was so focused on aesthetics and detail that I ended up with what basically looked like a mini chateau palace, not a townhouse at all. And I literally built a mini palace by instinct because I love building palaces. And I didn't even realize I'd completely missed the townhouse vibe until I was already done with the architecture and landscaping. So actually interior decorating was all that was left, and it was beautiful. Like, I would totally live there myself, but I knew it wasn't Rhysand's townhouse, and I couldn't call it Rhysand's townhouse because it really wasn't Rhysand's townhouse. So I trashed it, like I deleted all of it and restarted from scratch. Only when I could, truly see Rhysand's townhouse in my head was I able to build it right. And that's why this took me more than usual to make this video and this build. So yeah, I'm sorry for that. But as I said, I really needed this build to be perfect. Like, this location is one of my favorites from the series, full of character, and it's so full of beautiful memories, and I really wanted to, as I said, pour my heart and soul into this build. And yeah, I actually think I ended up pretty happy with the result, and I really hope you love it too, and that I've managed to capture even a little bit of Rhysand's townhouse vibe here. And yeah, please write in the comments how you imagined his townhouse in Velaris, and what would you do differently than me. Genuinely, I love reading your thoughts, your comments, your visions, and your feedback truly means the world to me. And also, I'm really curious, do you prefer stop motion builds or speed builds? Be honest, please. As you can see, I've been experimenting with stop motion lately, and it's super fun to make, actually, and I find it visually very satisfying and very pleasing. But yeah, I really want to know, what do you prefer? Okay, back to the build. So you saw how I styled the terraces. So there are 2 smaller balconies on the back of the house overlooking the garden and central fountain, and on the roof I created a larger terrace. So it features a grill, a bigger dining table for, inner circle gatherings and dinners under the stars, and a little sitting area tucked in a corner, and of course a small easel for Feyre, gotta have it. Sorry, tiny spoiler. But yeah, as I said before, I know it's probably not 100% accurate to the description in the books. It's just my vision of it, so please don't come at me. Okay, finally, let's dive into the interior. So we are starting with the ground floor. There's the entry hallway with front doors and stairs to the second floor, and that rich red ornamented rug. And on the left of the hallway is a small living room with the big black marble fireplace, which was actually mentioned in the books, so it's accurate. And on the right side of the hallway is a dining room with the, grand table to accommodate everyone. And this interior part of the house is actually pretty accurate, as I said. And yeah, downstairs also includes a bathroom for everyone, a kitchen next to the dining room, and a cozy little library at the back. And I used a lot of, wood paneling and darker tones throughout the whole house. Rich wood, beautiful furniture, mostly created by my favorite CC creator, Alexandre. And yeah, I leaned into moody, almost dark academia / Victorian vibe, yet still full of soul and character, especially in the bedrooms you'll see later on. Moving up to the second floor, so first we have Feyre's bathroom and her bedroom, and it really stands out from the rest of the house in terms of color palette. And as you can see, it's much lighter with pale wood, white and soft blue accents, which to me feels so Feyre. Now, I don't actually think her room was described with blue details in the books. In fact, I'm pretty sure there were mentions of sage tones, but I'm not too sure. But for me, the pale blue and white just, perfectly capture her personality and vibe, so I kept it blue. And I really wanted her room to feel, cozy, elegant and feminine, and I imagine it was originally a guest room before Feyre moved in, so it's smaller, as you can see, but still has its own attached bathroom in the same light color palette. And to highlight her artistic side, I added lots of pictures on the wall next to her bed, and some picture frames on the floor, and painted, and some blank canvases, paints and brushes, And across from the bed, there's a fireplace with an armchair and a little side table where I placed an open notebook because I imagine that's where Feyre might have, practice her writing. For those who read the books, wink wink, I know you know it. I know you know what I'm talking about. And next is Rhysand's room. So it's large, elegant, rich and dark. Dark wood dominates with black and deep blue details reflecting the color of night sky in Velaris. And I really wanted his room to feel, graceful and masculine and moody with that rich night sky blue accent. And next to his bedroom is his study, matching the same aesthetic. And there's his writing desk, some sitting areas, and a couple of bookshelves. And I imagine tons of books piled around because, after all, he's a mastermind, super smart and intelligent. And High Lord duties, I guess. So I furnished his room and study accordingly. And then his bathroom, which actually echoes Feyre's, but in a darker version. So we have moody tones, black and blue with white accent, keeping it consistent with his room and study. Okay, now moving up to the third floor, the remaining bedrooms. So first is another guest room that I imagine it was actually repurposed to be Elain's bedroom after her moving in. And as you can see, it's smaller with a narrow bed in a similar aesthetic to Feyre's room, but with light green instead of pale blue. And as we know, Elain is very soft, cute, garden-loving girly with strong spring court vibes. So her room is soft green with white accents and light wood, cozy and elegant with a slight cottagecore feel. And of course, I added her gardening hat and boots to kind of reflect her love for gardening and nature. Next is Morrigan's room, slightly larger, royally opulent. Warm light wood with red and gold accents, and it's very regal, very royal core, fit for our Queen Morrigan. And then for the contrast, we have Cassian's room, which is actually similar palette to Morrigan's, but smaller and way less elegant and a little messy. So I also used light warm wood with dark red accents, a perfect match for his fiery personality. And I added lots of clutter to make his room feel kind of messy because I feel he's kind of messy. So here you can see his weapons, even training dummy, lots of random stuff, and I even added, some weights because I just can't not imagine Cassian, angrily lifting in his room after a fight with Nesta. And I definitely feel like he's that kind of a guy who would probably, have some nude ladies plastered all over the walls, so I placed some nude sketches to kind of represent that. And after that, Azriel's room, which is kind of clean and more organized and kind of minimalistic in a way, representing or reflecting his perfectionism because I really feel like he's perfectionist. So I mostly used black tones, as you can see, representing his shadows, and of course a guitar because, come on guys, I really imagine him, secretly writing and playing emotional love songs in the dark when he's home alone. And a quick note, I know Lucian and Nesta also lived here at some point, but I didn't create their rooms here. Honestly, there just wasn't space and they were only here briefly. But if you download the house, feel free to, add their rooms if you want or repurpose some spaces however you like, and it's all up to you. And as always, the house will be available for download on my CurseForge. and yeah, with complete CC list, so you don't have to worry about anything. And that's basically it. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you approve of my vision or version of Rhysand's Townhouse. And yeah, please, if you loved it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also let me know in the comments how you envisioned the house and what would you design differently. And also please tell me, stop motion builds or speed builds, which one do you prefer? I really want to know. Yeah, thank you so much for watching and for supporting me, and see you in the next video very soon. Bye guys.